What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full mushroom Pokemon team. Now these are not the magic type, these are the Pokemon that are mushrooms. Now I actually recorded this episode, the narration right, and I got to the end of the video, I'm like, cool, time to render it, and I didn't put the recorder on. So I have to read it. I talked to myself for like 20 minutes or so. I'm like so salty at the moment. Anyway, put those Pokemon suggestions in the comment section below, people. The highest time comment will be the winner. Now, Jeremy, this one is for you. This was for Patreon people. If you want your theme team done, check it out in the description under the Patreon link. Okay, so now we have a battle against DC King on my chat. If you people want to battle me on my chat, that's also in the description of the video. So obviously there's more than 6 mushroom Pokemon before someone like YouTube heroes it up in the comments. I just picked the first 6 that came to mind. So we have a physical Amoonguss here. Now I've got a Choice Band Regenerator set. I've got Rollout on here. I thought it was quite interesting Rollout, so I put that on there. I've got C-Bomb for Stab. I've got Payback for Psychic types. And I've got Facade if I get burned by like Will-O-Wisp or something. Anyway, so we have a Ninetales lead here, which is going to go for the Ferium Z. Now, I thought this was an interesting play. Even though I resist that, I was like, I'm probably not going to live this one anyway, because I'm only running Max Health. I'm not like super bulky. Anyway, so it's going to hit me like super duper hard with the first attack. And this one actually allows me to live on 2 health. So, It's a nice change, people. It's a very nice change. So going for the rollout, which is going to be enough to take out the Ninetales. That poor Ninetales who got rolled out by a Amoonguss. Anyways, they definitely should have gone for a nice move there to take me out. So now we have the Toxicroak coming out, which was the absolute bane of my existence in this battle. Anyway, more will come on that in the latter ends of the game. So it's going to take me out with a Mud Slap. I love getting taken out by Mud Slap. So as you can see, it's going to be a trolley set. It's got Mud Slap, lowers accuracy. You can probably see where this one is going to go anyway. So we have the Fungus coming out. I've got an interesting set on this one too. It's quite fun to use. I've got Max Health, Max Special Attack. I actually gave it Modest on this one. I've got Toxic and Venoshock, which couldn't do absolutely nothing to this. I had Giga Drain and I also had Hidden Power Ground on this. So now we have the Toxicroak being just a general pain in the ass, and it's going to swap out there because obviously they know that I've got the Hidden Power Ground. It was super effective, or they've guessed. So now we have Drifloon come in. It's not going to affect that. It's a flying type. There's not much I can really do other than go for the Toxic against this thing. If I lose my voice a little bit in this, I've already narrated this whole thing, like twice actually. The first time I called a Pokemon Mewtwo. Anyway, I did it again, people. I did it again. So now we have the Drifloon. It's poisoned, which is good. It's going to start setting up some scummy stockpiles, which is a real pain in the ass. Now, the best thing about this is if it does have rest, I'm screwed. But if it doesn't, that's really good. So now it's going to go for Gust. Now, before you say anything, Drifloon actually has a very poor flying type special moves. Like, I think it gets Air Cutter and Gust. That's about it, or unless you get Hidden Power Flying. And, Air Cutter is quite hard to get. I believe that's from an earlier gen. I did that a while ago. I think it's from 4th gen. Tutor, I believe. Don't quote me on that one, but I believe it is. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. I just remember actually doing that. Anyway, so going for the powered up Venoshock. It's not very effective, but it's the best thing I can really do to get some, that double base power with the Toxic. Anyway, so it's going to keep going for Gust. So that's why you commonly see the Drifloon use Shadow Ball or T-Bolt. They're the main moves it uses. You see it going for that. Anyways, so the Drifloon is going to go down the next turn, which is fine with the Toxic. That's really good getting rid of that one. So I was able to tank out those Gusts, people. Now, so things are going quite well. Now we have the Sandygast coming out. So another Pokemon that I definitely wanted Toxic right away because it's very stally. So that was my first plan of action against this. Now, I know that it can carry Earth Power, but the risk of going for the Toxic, I really wanted to get that one up. So it's got the Toxic on it, which is good. And that's going to go for the Earth Power against Fungus. That's going to be enough to actually take me out. So on the next turn. So I was actually, that was the second time I lived on 2 health. Like the first turn and this turn here. So I've got that 2 HP lives at the moment. So Sandygast is going to swap out. Now we have Togedemaru coming in. Maybe expecting a poison type move. I went for Giga Drain anyway because it's super effective. And I hadn't actually revealed that until now. So it does pretty good damage to Togedemaru. Now, I know this thing's going to be able to easily take me out. It was actually a bit of a problem because I didn't have any moves that really hit it apart from Hidden Power Ground and Hidden Power Fire. That was about it, so I had to really watch that. So that's going to swap out, and now we have the Pikachu coming in, the Kanto Hat Pikachu. So this Counter-Attack Pikachu can only be one nature. It's it's really, really bad. So I thought, let's swap in Paris here anyway. If it's a physical set, this would be quite good. However, if it does have Fake Out, that could be a problem too. So swapping out that and going into the Parasect, it's going to be a special set going for the T-Bolt. So I'm going to be able to resist that one nicely. However, I was a little bit worried that if it had something else to hit me. However, it doesn't. It's going to keep going for Thunderbolt. So I was like, good, that's nice. I'm going to be able to tank those ones quite well. So this Parasect set was quite good too. Now, Parasect... I almost said Parasect again. Parasects again. So we have the Parasect going for the... I'm going for the Rotilla. So Rotilla is a really cool move. It boosts the attack and special attack of a Pokemon. I stopped myself before I said it. I almost did this. I did the same thing with Onix the other day. So it's going to keep going for the Thunderbolt. Obviously, that's the best attack it can do against me. So eating my berry and getting some of my health back. So Rotilla is like growth, right? It affects grounded grass Pokemon. So I'm a grounded grass Pokemon, but it doesn't give the effects to the other Pokemon if they are not a grounded grass Pokemon. That's just a little niche move. You really don't see it being used because there's always like another move that's better than it. But in this case, this set actually really suited it. I had Giga Drain, Leech Life, and Brick Break, so it was a mixed set. I've got Effect Spore on this as well, so the Wiki Berry allowed me to get a Rotilla up and then start sweeping with Leech Life because then I can get my health back rather nicely too. The EVs on this one were max health and max special attack. The attack stat on Parasect was higher than its special attack, that's why I did that. And after the Rotilla, it basically brought it back to around where max attack was anyway. So now we have Sandygast coming in. I can either go for a Giga Drain here or just go for some Leech Life to get some health back. I opted for the Giga Drain. However, I got a special defense drop on Parasect and I also got paralyzed at the same time. Like, oh, that's typical luck. Anyway, so the poison is racking up, which is nice. I guess that's the only positive thing that could come out of this matchup. And it's going to be able to take me out with the Shadow Ball. Definitely, even the special defense drop didn't even matter there as well. So a rather even battle at this point in the game. So with this team, right, as you can imagine, all the fire types in the world and flying types are huge counters to this. Like, I just didn't have many options against those. I had When you've got to rely on Paris to get rid of those Pokemon with its set, I'll show you what that set is in a second. It's you've got problems. Anyway, so taking the Sandygast out, which is good. Now we have the Togedemaru coming in. So I've got Giga Drain on this set. I thought that would be my best option to go for because I can get some health recovery anyway. However, it's going to have Poison Jab, which is going to be like 4 times against me. I just hang on 7 health. And I don't even get poisoned there. I was like, cool, this is nice. Going for the Specs Giga Drain on Togedemaru, doing a nice lot of damage. So this was a Specs Shiinotic. I've got Moonblast, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, and I've got Hidden Power Fire on this. I opted for the Giga Drain over that. So I actually get an Effect Spore on Togedemaru, which is really nicely putting it to sleep. Now, you're probably wondering why I haven't used Spore that much. I wanted to rely on Effect Spore as the ability to put more Pokemon to sleep, and a lot of my Pokemon are toxic, so I thought that was counterproductive. That's why I didn't run that. Anyway, so it's going to be asleep, which is nice. Now, this Paraset was really cool, right? I had on this one, it was a Focus Sash counter set, which was a great counter, really, pardon the pun, for like Brave Bird Pokemon, Flare Blitz Pokemon. It just absolutely shreked them. I actually burnt up my my Focus Sash there to take out that, but I thought it was worthwhile just getting rid of it. Had Counter Knockoff Flail with a 1 health, and also had Bug Bite now with Effect Spore as well. So this is where the battle started to get really, really stally and pain in the ass. So with the Toxicroak, right, it had Substitute Mud Slap, as you can already see. So that was a big problem already there, because it could go for the Mud Slap, drop my accuracy, and really, I'd lost all my Pokemon that could actually do anything to it. Like, I'd lost my Hidden Power Ground Pokemon, and just general Pokemon that did some damage, like some hard damage, even on resisted moves. So it's going to have the Black Sludge, and it's going to be a royal pain in the ass. I can't really do too much to it, but at the same time, it really couldn't do too much for my Paras. Now, my Paras had 0 defense IVs and 0 special defense IVs, and even with that, it was just being a little pain in the arse dropping my accuracy. I was desperately trying to get rid of its substitute with knockoff. I had a plan in the works, so trying to get around it. Anyway, so it's going to have Drain Punch, which is also a big problem. It's doing some recovery. Even though it's resisted, it's getting recovery back to itself that way, and it's got the Black Sludge, and it's got the substitute. So I'm like, pucker, this is going to be annoying to get past. Anyway, so finally it takes out my Paras. I get an Effect Spore, which is going to paralyze it, so that was really good. Now, my final Pokemon Whew. I've done like nearly an hour narrating on this battle, was the Morlow. Now, I sped this up 4 times because it went for 20 turns, and I know you guys don't want to watch it. I just want to give you the general idea what was happening. Let me run you through this Morlow set. This was a max health, max special defense set with Leech Seed. Now, Leech Seed was my main priority to get up, right? So I got that one up, which was really, really good. It actually Poison Touched me there. However, Poison Touch isn't like, the real badly poison. It's just the set amount of damage each turn. So it wasn't the end of the world there, as I had the Leech Seed up. Now, I also had Strength Sap on this. Now, Strength Sap was a huge gameplay here. I could get my health back, right, and drop the attack of the Toxicroak, so those Drain Punches were getting resisted already, and then they were doing even less because I was dropping the attack and healing myself at the same time. I also had Giga Drain just for some recovery as well, and I also had Effect Spore and Everlight on this. That was the set. It was rather fun to run, actually. So the Toxicroak is basically getting beat down by the Morlow here, which is quite ironic considering the typings. And it's going to just keep going for Drain Punch to try and get health back. So I had the Leech Seed, the Strength Sap. The Toxicroak had the Drain Punch and the Black Sludge. However, I was winning out on top because the Leech Seed and the Strength Sap were recovering more. And the Toxicroak couldn't get enough damage back from the Drain Punch to last out the, the Leech Seed damage from the Morlow. So this went on, as I said, for 20 turns. Finally, we come to a close trying to take out the Toxicroak. This took ages. And Toxicroak is finally going to go down eventually in the next, I think it's like the next 2 or 3 turns. So this was an absolute marathon. I think it went for it was close to 50 turns, I believe, if I didn't speed this up. This would have gone for 20 or 30 minutes. So the Raw was the Raw live was almost an hour. I think it was an hour. Anyway, so finally the Toxicroak is going to go down to the Leech Seed, and Morlow is going to come out victorious. But man, this battle took ages. It was such a long battle. Anyway, so the next battle, I came in with the same game plan. I sort of kept my Stally Pokemon at the end in case anything like that happened. And I really needed to save my Parasect for those annoying Pokemon like Flying types and Fire types. However, in both these battles, that really wasn't a problem. And obviously, as you can imagine, if there was a lot of Fire and Flying types, I was going to get wrecked. So that's why those Pokemon didn't crop up too much in these battles. Anyway, so we have a battle against Mossy Dog on my chat. I've already mentioned where to battle me and stuff. So we have a Stuffle lead, so which is interesting. It's going to go for the Taunt, which is going to really stuff my strategy. So I don't get the Rotilla up, unfortunately. However, I'm not going to be hitting too hard against this thing. If it's Everlight with the Fur Coat ability, it's going to be not Fur Coat, Fluffy. Sorry. So that's going to be rather tanky. So this one had the Substitute, it had Toxic, and it had Taunt. I was like, I wonder what his other move was. So Parasect is got the Brick Break, so I'm going to be able to break the Substitute anyway, which is good. So I was wondering what the last move would be on this thing. I was tanky Parasect already with max health. So I was like, well, I might as well just take this thing out with Brick Break. I've got nothing to lose, even if it has Protect or something weird like that and no attacking moves. Anyway, so Stuffle's going to swap out, which was interesting. I was like, maybe they didn't have much to hit me with. Then the big problem came in, which was Wheezing. So looking at my team, right, you can already see how big a problem this is. Not only is it's got super effective moves against my whole team, I can't actually hit it with much because Shit and Power Ground's not going to do anything to it. And that's about it. That's all the moves that I had that could actually do something. However, it was a rather interesting set. It was a Curse Wheezing. Now, I know Wheezing really well. I know most Pokemon really well. Their movesets. Wheezing has an absolutely terrible physical moveset. So I was like, maybe they're running something like Gyro Ball. That would work rather nicely on a physical set. You could get that boost in attack. Also dropping your speed, which both of those things would power up the move Gyro Ball. And Gyro Ball would hit really hard against my Fairy-type Pokemon like Shiinotic and Morlow. Anyway, so I found it really important there to get up the Leech Seed. Fortunately, it didn't have Black Sludge. I was like, cool. I can at least get that kind of damage up against it. And I know Wheezing, as I said, I know Wheezing fairly well, and I was wondering if it actually had Rest. Did it have Recovery? Did it have Rest, or did it have Pain Spit, or it had no Recovery? I wasn't sure. Anyway, so it's going to go for the Payback. I resist that, even though I've got nothing in defense. I'm going to be able to resist that, and with Everlight, that's going to help me out a lot. And Wheezing's attack is basically dreadful. They've only got a couple of curses up too. So all that factored into me taking not a lot of damage. So I've got the Leech Seed up, which is doing fairly good work at the moment. I wasn't sure if it was a mixed set and had like a Flamethrower or Sludge Bomb off its sleeve. I wasn't 100% sure of that at this point in the game. Anyway, so Weezing's going to go for a Payback. It's doing nothing. So clearly they have nothing to hit me for super effective, which is good. I was very worried about Gyro Ball. That was going to absolutely wreck Morlow. Anyways, and just Sludge Bomb. That was a problem too. The best, I was thinking maybe I could use. Just, there was nothing. I'm just going over my Pokemon now. Like Molal, nothing could do against it. Shiinotic, the best it could do was like probably like Giga Drain or Moonblast, and well, Amoonguss could go for maybe the rollout Amoonguss would have been my saving grace. Then I had to worry if it had Will-O-Wisp or not. Anyway, so now I'm going to go for the Giga Drain again. This is going on for such a long time. This was the longest part in this battle against the Weezing and the Toxicroak and Morlul matchup in the last battle. So Morlul was in like the 2 longest bits of the battle. Obviously, it's quite a it's quite a stally set, but it's also fun to use. And it has its key weaknesses too. Anyway, so Weezing's going for more paybacks. It's just not going to do enough damage to take me out. I finally get an effect spore. Actually waiting for that one to happen. Weezing closes its purple eyelids, and now we can get to work. So going for the Giga Drain again. It's doing okay damage, stacking with the Leech Seed. So I'm guessing the next turn, if Weezing doesn't wake up and use Pain Spit again, I can get rid of it. I wasn't sure what the other moves were, but I actually found out what they were trying to do. The move they had was Destiny Bond. So they were waiting for me to get down a low man health, wake up and use Destiny Bond, and then if I use Giga Drain, it would take more low out. So that was their game plan with the Destiny Bond. So Destiny Bond's quite an interesting move for Weezing to use. Anyway, so more, because like with Destiny Bond, right, you're usually going first to use it, then you can snare the opponent into taking you out, and then you both die. So a slower Pokemon like Weezing would find using Destiny Bond quite difficult. Anyway, so we have the Executor coming in. It's going to use Toxic against me. I also use Toxic against Executor. Executor is a bulky Pokemon. I was wondering also to see if it actually had the Harvest Lumberry. That could be a big problem. Toxic misses. I'm like, bugger, that sucks. However, I got another turn to use that. Now, Executor can have Psyshock, so I was a little bit worried about that. However, it's going to go for the Psychic instead, so that was good. I was quite happy about that one. So now I'm going to finally get the Toxie up, so here's to find out whether it had a Harvest or Citrus Berry, or if it didn't even have Harvest at all. It was like a Chlorophyll set. However, it doesn't have Lumberry, so I'm happy with that. So I was thinking mainly, a lot of the time, it just runs a Harvest set with Citrus Berry. Works very nicely on it. Executor is an amazing Harvest Pokemon. Anyway, so it's going to go for another Psychic. I was thinking, should I just stay in and attack this thing with Giga Drain, or should I swap out? Since I already took a lot of damage and already poisoned, I thought, bugger it, let's just get some damage on Giga Drain, let that Toxic rack up a little bit and see if I can revenge kill this, maybe with Parasect, because I've got Leech Life on. I really love the fact that Leech Life got a boost in attack. I really like that. It made it like a lot more viable for... It's kind of like the Drain Punch of the bug type moves. It's nice. Anyways, so Executor is going to finish me off with the Psychic. That's my Morlul down, but I like using Morlul. It was a fun Pokemon to use. Definitely, if you haven't used it, try it out. Maybe even in Little Cup, if you want to go for that one. So this was actually a PU tier battle too. I did have a Amoonguss, but I did make people aware that I was using a higher tier Pokemon, but this set obviously was a mega gimmick. I mean, rollout Amoonguss isn't exactly going to do much in OU. Anyway, so that's going to get my Parasect is going to get hit by the Psychic. I'm going to get my Wiki Berry health back. I almost tossed up going for a Rotilla there, but I thought, nah, let's get rid of Executor before it gets any recovery back or something annoying. And that's obviously going to definitely go down to the Leech Life, 4 times super effective against Executor. So things are looking really good at the moment. I've got rid of Weezing and I've got rid of Executor. So I've got the Poison, which is fine. Now we have the Vanillite coming up. Actually, that's not a Vanillite. That's a Vanillish. All right, it's just a fucking ice cream. Anyway, so going for the Brick Break against that, it's going to take that rather well, and it's going to be a physical set going for the Avalanche. That does a lot of damage because I did hit it, and it got a boost from that, so it doubled in base power, and the Poison is going to be enough to take out my Parasect, so that was cool. I like that set. A physical Vanillish ice cream. Anyway, so got to take Mr. Whippy out, so swapping in Amoonguss. I thought, well, people, this is a prime opportunity to go for the rollout. Vanilla is going to swap... Vanilla fucking ice cream. Vanilla is going to swap out, and Stuffle's going to come in, and, well, I'm going for the rollout. However, it's going to resist that, so I'm like, I don't think they predicted the rollout somehow. Anyway, so this was bad because it actually has Bide, so I'm like, oh, here we go. So it was not very effective against it, right? But my only saving grace was rollout actually does get an exponentially stronger. So I was hoping the next one would just be enough to take it out because... judging on the damage of Unleash Energy, you'd probably do around half health. I didn't really want that. And I was also locked into rollout, and that's Stuffle down. So that Stuffle is stuffed. So I actually really like the shiny version too. It looks really cool. So now we have the Golduck. Now I know Golduck has access to Ice Beam, Psychic, If it's a physical set, it's got Ice Punch, so I knew those were the sort of moves that would probably be coming my way. It's going to go for the Psy Shock, which is going to hit me defensively. Since it wasn't stab, it doesn't take me out, and I'm running max health too. And it's also got Life Orb for a bit of extra damage output too. Now, I'm going to go for the rollout. Since I've got a couple of boosts against that Stuffle, Golduck just gets decimated there. So, people, Among Us rollout, choice band. You got to try it. So overpowered. It's broken. You won't believe this. Anyway, so we have Vanilla coming in. Vanilla, oh my god, this is mind-fucking me. So going for the rollout, obviously I actually outsped it. Maybe they only had Avalanche to hit me, so that's negative priority. So I'm going to outspeed. Now the problem with the rollout was, as you use rollout yourself, it can miss, and then all your stacks from rollout, you lose the base power. Anyways, so this battle is like, I'm really ahead in this game. Seeking's going to come in and flinch me with the Waterfall, so that was kind of bad. I wanted to get my rollout action happening again. Anyway, so Seeking's going to go for another Waterfall. I just live on 4 health, and then it flinches me 2 times in a row. I'm like, okay, I kind of saw that one coming. It always happens. So anyway, the Among Us is going to go down. Since I don't have Feck Spore, I've got Regenerate on this. I can't get into that scummy hacks. But that's all good. I'm well ahead. So I've got 3 Pokemon. I thought, well, let's go into Paris, right? Even Waterfall is going to do some damage to Paris so that I resist that. And I've got 0 in defense, only in max in health. So the Seeking's going to go for Toxic, and that's really going to mess up my strategy because I went for the counter, right? So that sucks. So guys, I got countered. Anyway, so my focus action is gone. This can freely go for another move and take out my Parasect if it actually has anything apart from Waterfall as an attacking move. However, it's going to go for an Aqua Ring. That's going to give it a basically a leftovers. I like Aqua Ring. It's a cool move. So going for the knockoff, getting rid of its berry. I should have gone for Bug Bite there. I was like kicking myself. That would have been epic. I could have healed myself up with the Citrus Berry. However, the end result was the same. I got rid of the opponent's Citrus Berry. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't know that it had a Citrus Berry, but I got rid of the item. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, so we have the Seeking using Rain Dance. This is going to power up the Waterfall, and if it's got Swift Swim, it's going to make it double the speed in the rain. So going for the Bug Bite, that was my next best attack there, since Knockoff will no longer get a boost because the opponent doesn't have an item anymore, and Bug Bite is also Stab. So now I'm taking, I think that was the 3rd round of toxic damage on my Paris. So I was like, well, Waterfall, I'm not going to be able to live this one because, number one, it's got trashy defenses, and I've got that prior damage from Toxic, and the rain is up. So Paris was not going to live that one. So suddenly the battle has actually leveled out. So now I have the Morlul down, so there's not going to be this battle. I've got the Fungus left. So I thought, well, if this thing is going to be a real pain in the ass flinching me, I've got to get a Toxic on it. That was my best option. So now it's going to go for the Waterfall again. It's about a 4-hit KO in the rain. If I got flinched and critted, it could be even less. So I got that Toxic up, which is really good. That was where I wanted to get up. Anyway, so Seeking's got the extra recovery from the Aqua Ring, which is basically going to just nullify Toxic's first round of damage, but that's cool. The main thing was that I got the Toxic up. Anyway, so now the Seeking's going to go for Waterfall again, and does some pretty nice damage to me. I don't get flinched. I'm able to get off the Venoshock. Since it's poison, it's going to do double damage with Modest Nature. That's going to be enough to take out the Seeking, and that's both the games. Please, I hope this narration recorded, people. I just hope so. I'm going to die. All right, enjoy the bloopers.